Welcome back to the Moralgovernor TV, a channel where we examine our actions and inactions from the lenses of the moral governor. Today, I want to ask another question, and join me as we answer this question together. What is the moral standard? Remember, we have been talking about morality as knowing what is right and wrong, as dealing with the question of human actions and behaviors. Why do you do what you are doing? Which standard are you using to measure what you are doing? So we want to answer the question, what is the moral standard, or who is the moral standard? I have some things I will present. Like, for instance, so many people believe that social customs is the moral standard. By social custom, I mean whatever probably a community, a social group, a large number of people accepts to be right, then it is right. If you have so many people that are following, maybe in the internet now, you see that when so many people are following one person, and that the follower of that person, so far they have accepted the person, they believe that whatever the person does is right. There are some communities, whatever a community has come to accept, to some people, that is the moral standard, because so many people in that community are doing it. But I will prove to you that that is not the moral standard, because a whole community can be wrong. For instance, there was a time in our country, in this country, in history, where communities, a community or different society were killing fellow human beings in the name of that they don't accept when a woman gives birth to twins. That was social custom. It was a custom of that society that any twin will be killed because it is evil. You see, can you say that that is the moral standard? Is it good for a community to come together and agree, maybe as a result of their custom, to kill a child, kill children that have just been given birth because they are twins? So there was a time in history where slavery was acceptable by some communities, that you can capture people and take them for slavery. So you see that social custom falls short of being the standard of morality, because that has caused more damage in our society. We even have other society, maybe religious custom, where we have some people who accept that when somebody steals, no matter how small, the person will be amputated. The person's hands will be cut. Or we have seen in some society, they have agreed that religiously, when somebody says some certain things, they believe that, oh, the person has blasphemed against their God, and so they will kill the person. That is acceptable in those communities. But are they right? The question is, are they right? So social custom cannot be said to be the moral standard. Now, another opinion of some people, they believe that the law of the land is the moral standard. That the law of the land is the moral standard. There are some laws that are not favorable to some persons. Take for instance, our constitution in Nigeria. If you check the constitution so well, you will see that it is favoring some people and not favoring others. Our legislators, they can gather and make laws. If some of us are crying today that the laws are only made for the poor, and so they may stay to make laws, to enact laws that only favors them, that will continue to keep them in power. You see, those kind of laws are not favorable to the poor, and so it is not a moral standard. There is no fairness, there is no equity in those laws. There are some, even in the constitution, there are some laws that favors the south, but the laws are the northerners are free to do those things. For instance, in the south, you see, education, the policies of education are more strict than the people of the north. Are we not all human beings? And so why the bias? So you see that the law, so far it is made by human beings, cannot be said to be the moral standard. Now, there are some people who also believe that right reasoning is the moral standard. That is, if you are able to reason logically, if you are able to reason well about a particular thing, you are able to on your own analyze an issue, and to you it is right, then that will become the moral standard. But that also falls short of what a moral standard should be, because you may have your own opinion, another person has his own opinion, and so these opinions are contradicting to each other. So you cannot say that is a moral standard. You are not the standard, and I am not the standard. Other persons are not the standard. So right reasoning alone cannot be said to be the moral standard. There are some others who say pleasure is the moral standard. That is, anything you are doing that gives you pleasure, that is the moral standard. We see some people today, they dress in a way that seduces others. They dress in a way that causes problem for other persons. And to them, since they feel okay by that kind of dressing, can you say it is the moral standard? Now, what of others who probably they have a lot of money and they decide to spend it the way they want, even to use it to arrest others or victimize other people or abuse whatever status they have? Can you say it is the moral standard because they find pleasure in doing that? So pleasure cannot be the moral standard, because it is when all of us are looking for what will give us that pleasurable desires, it cannot be the moral standard. One beautiful one that would have been very close is conscience. Many people believe that their conscience is the moral standard. That is, if they do anything and their conscience did not judge them, or maybe they do something where their conscience not judge them, they say, that is the standard because my conscience not judge me. Have you seen in this country maybe some videos flying in social media where people will kill other people and start dancing with their legs, their hands, or their heads? Have you seen where kidnappers will kidnap people and display the ransom online? They are happy. Their conscience is not judging them. We have seen people who are killing others. Villages, people are being killed daily. People are protesting over being killed. But these people who are carrying out this killing, maybe as a result of religion or ethnicity, their consciences are not judging them. So is that the standard? So when you do anything and your conscience did not judge you, can you say that is the moral standard? But let me let you know that your conscience is depending on what you know. Conscience only acts on your knowledge. Your conscience cannot work beyond what you know or below what you know. For instance, like I said before, there are some people who were killing others because they gave birth to twins. Their conscience did not judge them because that was their knowledge. That is how far they knew. There are so many people who are even practicing religion in a wrong way. Their consciences are not judging them because that is what they have been indoctrinated to do. That is what they have been told to do. A religion that may tell you to kill another person. That is knowledge. That is the extent of their knowledge. And so they cannot grow beyond their knowledge. And so your conscience, because it is limited to your knowledge, it cannot be said to be the moral standard. Now lastly, many people said, revelation. When God reveals something to anybody, say that is the moral standard. But how do you know that it is God that revealed that thing to that person? That your pastor that is saying, God spoke to me that you should tell you, and you use it to live your life, you use it to treat others, even though the revelation comes that you should go and steal money, you should go and get money anyhow you like to come and give to the church. How do you know it is God? So now, if all these are not the moral standard, what is the moral standard? The moral standard is the revelation of the word of God. It is only what God has revealed in his word that is the moral standard. Anything outside that cannot be the moral standard. The passage in 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 3 says, God has given us everything that pertains to life and godliness. So that is the moral standard. That is the revelation, the revealed word of God, not the one that people are telling us the visions of their minds. They will prophesy this, reveal this, and these things are not working. So the moral standard is God himself and his word that he has revealed. So anytime we deviate from the standard of God, we are deviating into darkness. We are deviating into error. And that is why, since we are not loyal to the word of God, you see people doing whatever they like. And if you read the book of Romans chapter 1 from verses 18 down, you will discover that God told us. That is why people started coming up with their ideas. Homosexuality, so many 21 sins are mentioned in that passage. Envy, gossip, deception, disobedience, and so many other things. Because these things happen to men because they deviated from the standard, the word of God. So if we must know what the moral standard is, then let's depend on what God has revealed. He is the moral governor. He is the creator and the lawgiver. So what laws has he given? Let us stick with it and stand with it, so that we use the laws of God to relate in terms of business, in terms of religion, in terms of politics. When we relate with the word of God, then we will start experiencing peace, tranquility, and progress, prosperity in our society. Subscribe to this channel once again and like the video, share it to others, so that when we start bringing out practical issues that bothers us in our society, we all will always use it, compare with what the moral governor has given. Then we will decide what is right, and when we do what is right, our society will be healthy. God bless you.